9 years ago, when I was 30, I quit my job. I quit a comfortable job, a place where I was happy, a place where I enjoyed the people I worked with. I didn't hate going to work. I quit for something completely different. It meant cutting my wages more than in half. And 2 weeks after doing it, my wife fell pregnant with our first child. I quit a pretty comfortable role, a completely different job to what I do now. It was a desk job. It was an office-based job. Some sales involved, some sort of marketing, that type of stuff. It was a place I enjoyed working. I enjoyed the people I worked with. It was a good place with good people. What it wasn't was anything that I wanted really out of work or life. It was an industry that I didn't care about at all. It was a job that wasn't that fulfilling. It wasn't particularly satisfying. It was just work. I just went. Always put effort in, and I think I've done all right there. But it got to a point where there was like, well, where is this going? What's this going to lead to? Like, what is the end result here? And then I kind of figured out that the only end result there would be to try and become director in some way, which would probably mean borrowing a huge amount of money if I possibly could, or buying my way in slowly into a company that, quite frankly, it was no passion of mine whatsoever. And I don't think being director of something that you don't really want to be a director of is a good idea, And that's to say, if I could have even got there. I've got no indication to say that they wanted me to be a bigger part of that thing. So how it came about was I was actually in the pub with my wife at the time. Not my wife at the time, she's still my wife, but at the time I was in the pub. I was having a beer with a guy we knew from having been in there a few times. So it was not a complete stranger. He was a plumber, a heating engineer, and he said, I could always do with someone. So I considered it intensely for a few days, maybe a week or two, and I kept asking and sort of reiterating that you would definitely have work every day for me. Like, that was the main thing. Like, you have to have work for me every day. I can't really do this if it's going to be, if you're going to call me up on a Monday and say, there's no work till Thursday this week for you, and I'd only end up with 2 or 3 days. That wouldn't work at all. So anyway, I decided to go for it. I thought this could be the one. This could be the thing that sets us on the right path, gets me to where I want to be in the end. And I remember going in to have that chat at my current job, at my then job, and I was really not very good at that sort of stuff. Big things. I get a little bit nervous. I worry a bit too much about it. Maybe worry about too much about what. I mean, at the end of the day, I was doing a job for someone that was, let's be honest, replaceable. I've since been replaced, so it's not like I was ruining anyone's life by quitting the job there. But it was still really nerve-wracking at the time, I guess. Well, see, I need to get over myself with this filming in public stuff. You may have noticed there that straight away I was like a bit like, I'm filming, I look like a twat. So I went in to speak to my boss at the time. Really nervous about it, and I said I'm leaving. I said I'm going to go and do something new and see where that takes me. I started the new job. £60 a day quickly became quite eye-opening. So we moved in with my mum and dad. 2 weeks after quitting my job and starting this new one, so 2 weeks after starting the new one, not 2 weeks after quitting the first job, but 2 weeks after starting the new one, Jess comes up to me and tells me she's pregnant, which A, was the best news I'd ever heard, and B, was the scariest news I'd ever heard at that moment in time. But if that had happened 2 weeks earlier, I wouldn't have quit that job. Not a chance. I think my taste for adventure would have been fucking dulled quite a bit by that, and I would have gone into sensible mode and thought, right, I just need to keep working here then, keep working forever. So kind of a blessing that I found out afterwards, because I wouldn't have done it. Now, I say that like I'm now in the end phase of what I want to be doing and where I want to be. I'm not. I have progressed through what I do and I enjoy it. I geek out on it a little bit, to be fair. So yeah, we spent the next 3 years, actually. I know this is not what you want to hear, but we spent the next 3 years living in my mum and dad's house. My money went up slowly. I think it went from 60 to 80 actually, 1 year. Then it went from 80 to 90 about a year and a half later. It was what I should be getting paid really at the time. But that doesn't help you. When you're 31 at this point, 32, with a little baby, I don't know, with a little baby, and things cost a fortune, it ain't enough. Then, yeah, in the end, the money went up to, it was £100 a day. Obviously, that got taxed, you know, CIS. So we ended up with about 400, just under £400 a week. I realised with the work we was doing, it was bathrooms, it was boilers, heating systems, cylinders, that type of thing. And I realised it was what I preferred doing to the bathrooms. So I borrowed some money and I put myself through my gas course, which cost about £4,000 at the time. I basically trained, I went and done my courses, and I worked for this guy. So yeah, the bloke I worked for, he had no real interest in me doing my gas. He didn't show much interest in it. After having completed my gas, which at the time I was really proud of myself for, actually, I got the certificate and I was buzzing for it. I was like, oh man, I've done something here. This is an achievement. I felt really proud. I thought this is the future for me now. 2 months, I think about 2 months after having done the gas, I hadn't touched anything gas or boiler related at work. I spent the next 2 months pretty much plasterboarding and just general building and labouring stuff. And I thought, oh. Then I got a phone call from someone that I knew, and I knew he ran his own heating business just a couple of towns away. He offered me a job for a little bit more money this time. Not much, it went up. I think we went up to £120 a day. So this was 4.5, nearly 5 years after, I think 4.5 years after quitting my original job to getting this second job. Yeah, so then I just threw myself into it, I just, I thought, I'm going to make this, I'm going to shine here. I'm going to really give it some. I'm going to do everything right all the time, again and again here. I am going to show up. I'm going to work later. I'm going to come in on time, if not early, always. We'll have no days off. Kind of couldn't have days off at the time anyway, because I don't get paid for them. Yeah, if you don't get paid for days off, you don't take days off. If you're feeling slightly under the weather, yeah, you carry on regardless. That's one thing I've learned, that's for sure. So yeah, since then I've been working at the same company I work for now. I am currently installation manager at that firm, and yeah, money's improved, but I am the sole earner for our family. I have been since we've had the kids. It was a big decision at the time. It was one that I made to make a positive change going forward, and to do something where I would get out what I put in. That was the main thing. I wanted to actually be rewarded for the efforts that I put in, which often I find with work, especially in bigger companies, you could have two people like having vastly different inputs of effort and reaping the same rewards at the end of it. So I wanted to do something where I am in charge of the end result. Now, obviously, all the time you're working for someone else, that is limited, because you are still dependent on someone else's view and opinion of you.
So I suppose the only way for that to really go to the next step is, you have to run your own thing. So for me, at the moment, I'm happy. I'm really proud of where I've got to. I enjoy where I work. I think the decision to leave, the track I was on and to jump onto this new one was a good one. Was the right one. It hasn't felt like it at times because it has been tight. It has been tough. It has been, there's been times where I've really questioned my sanity. Like, that's why I did it. You put in a lot of work and a lot of physical work in for what feels like not a lot of gain, but obviously you're taking steps all the time. You're improving all the time, and you're aligning yourself, putting yourself into a position to do better and to earn more going forward. And another thing is doing it when you're slightly older, because of your position, you're basically starting again. So you're right at the bottom of the food chain. You're right on the bottom rung of the ladder. So you're getting obviously told what to do. You're getting sent for stuff. Go get this, go get that. So you do have to swallow your pride a little bit, I think, because you'd have younger people that are going to be telling you what to do. But they're in a position because they put themselves there early. They're not there by chance. There is a little element of just swallowing your pride and just knuckling down, getting on, and getting the work done and the time in, learning. Also, that extracurricular, you can't just be what you learn at work. I'd always go home and I'd obsess YouTube, videos constantly, all the little things that accompanied the job that I did. I wanted to get the best understanding. So thanks for watching this video. It's new to me. I'm trying to improve my speaking, the quality of the videos themselves. Like I say, at the moment, I'm just doing it on my phone. I've got a tripod that's only got 2 legs now. So that's absolutely useless to me. It's really nice to see some of the comments that I got on my previous videos. It's really encouraging. It's nice to know that someone actually watched it all the way through and maybe took something from it. So I will keep trying to make these better, to hopefully make them full of content that's going to help someone. There's a lot of people in my position. There's a lot of people that all feel the same. It can be tricky. It can be hard at the moment. So I just want to, thank anyone for watching this. Let me know what you think of it. Let me know what you think I can improve, maybe down in the comments, and maybe what you'd like to see more of. Subscribe to my channel and I'll keep making them.